was doing research on a mysterious killer I read about in the newspapers. The newspapers all read, mysterious white hooded killer still at large, body count still rising. Just then I heard a loud banging coming from my bedroom window. And I knew right then and there, it was the killer I'd been reading about in the newspapers and researching all this time. I cautiously approached my bedroom window and slowly opened the curtains. And I was shocked to see the killer staring right at me with his coal-black eyes and red, grinning smile. The killer was holding a bloody kitchen knife in his right hand, and he was still staring at me with that sickening grin. I quickly closed my curtains and I ran to my sister's old room. I hid in the closet and quickly shut the door. I also quickly locked the door and sat down quietly. While I was hiding and sitting down in the closet, I also stayed very still. Just then, I heard my bedroom window smash and the sound of broken glass shattering. I heard the sickening sounds of footsteps. The footsteps got closer and closer to where I was. And everything went silent. My blood started to boil, and my heart was racing. I knew somehow I was going to die, but I didn't want to accept it. Somehow the killer could smell my fear, and he knew where I was hiding, like a hunter after its prey. The killer then spoke to me from outside the closet door and said, "Come out, I know you're in there." I ignored him and tried to think of a plan to fight back and escape, but I was trapped and the killer would kill me if I fought back. I was pretty much gonna die anyway. The killer spoke again and said, "Come out or I'll force this door open and pull you out." I again ignored him out of plain stupidity and felt myself going into fight or flight mode. The killer spoke for a third and the last time and said, "If you're gonna run and hide like a scared little chicken, then I'm gonna slaughter you like one." I froze in fear. My blood ran cold. Why am I always so stubborn in these situations? I thought. I should have just listened to the killer the first few times he spoke. But it was too late for me. Now, because of my stubbornness, I was going to die. And all I could do was just stay there in the closet, frozen in fear and unable to fight back or escape Jeff. I could hear the sounds of the closet door being slashed and cut through with the knife of Jeff the Killer. It was like the sound of an axe violently cutting through a thick tree. The sound of the closet door being slashed and cut through got louder and louder and louder, and all I could see, and I could see large cracks all over the closet door. The cracks on the closet door got bigger and bigger. Eventually the cracks became so big that some of the wood from the closet door chipped off and left small, misshapen holes on it. The holes in the closet were small enough to see through, and I could see Jeff the Killer on the other side of the closet, still slashing and cutting his way through the closet door. Even though I was still in my closet and frozen in fear, I waited for Jeff the Killer, and to finally accept my fate. Jeff the Killer finally destroyed the closet door. It was smashed to pieces, and I could see the killer. He was still holding his knife in his right hand, staring right at me with his coal black eyes and blood-red grin. Just then, as the killer thrusted his knife towards me, I quickly went from being frozen in fear to survival mode. I used my right hand and grabbed the killer's right arm and squeezed it tightly. The killer then tried to use his left arm to pull my right hand off his arm, but I used my other hand and grabbed his left arm. I began using my left hand and started to squeeze the killer's left arm as tightly as I was squeezing his right arm. I began to tightly squeeze the killer's arms more and more. The killer then dropped his knife from his right hand, and the knife landed on the pile of broken wood from the destroyed closet door. I let go of the killer's arms as he laughed maniacally. "What's so funny?" I said to Jeff, looking at him with a serious yet partially scared expression on my face. "I don't need my knife to kill you," the killer said as he looked at me with a crazed expression on his face. "What are you talking about?" I said. The killer then grabbed me by the shoulders and threw me across the room. I slowly got up off the floor, and even though I was bruised, I stood up. As I charged toward the killer, he picked up his knife off the woodpile and stabbed me in the chest. I collapsed to the floor in front of him, but I got up and tried to keep fighting him. I was still conscious and in a lot of pain. The killer saw I was bleeding out, but still alive, and stabbed me multiple times in the chest and stomach. Finally, after taking multiple stabbings to my chest and stomach, and bleeding heavily, I lost consciousness and collapsed to the floor. The killer looked at my bloody and beaten body and said, "I know all about your brother, and with his mental issues, he'll turn into a great killer just like me." Just then I felt a very strange feeling come over me, like a burst of anger, but something more than that. And even though I was bloody and beaten, I got up off the floor and shouted maniacally, and kept shouting, Leave my brother alone. I was bleeding from my chest and stomach, but didn't feel any pain from my stab wounds. The killer looked at me and said, "You're still alive?" I looked at Jeff the killer with a crazed expression on my face and said to him, "The thing about pain is that if you learn to embrace it, you can use it against others, and I'm going to use it to kill you." The killer laughed maniacally and said, "You can't kill me. I'm not human anymore." The killer then grabbed his knife and thrusted it towards me. As I saw the knife about to pierce my flesh, everything went black and I lost consciousness. Hours later, I woke up and was shocked by what I saw. It was a very gruesome scene to look at, and I caused it. I saw the killer's knife in my right hand. The killer was bleeding and looking at me with his coal black eyes and smiling at me with his blood-red grin. The killer was laughing maniacally as he bled on the floor and said, "Now you're one of us. And now you're no longer human either. Now you're a psychopathic killer, and you will be forced to murder and kill for all eternity." I dropped the bloody knife and mumbled over and over, "No, no, no, no." The killer looked at me with a crazed expression still on his face and said, "You're too late. You can't stop what you're about to do, or what you are about to become. Now go to sleep." I blacked out and lost consciousness again, but when I woke up, I was in a hospital room with bandages all over my chest and stomach. I was greeted by a nurse and asked, "How'd I get here?" The nurse told me that my parents found me and brought me here. I was glad to be alive, but I just couldn't stop thinking about what Jeff said to me. One of them? Not human? A psychopathic killer? And that last part, forced to murder and kill for all eternity. What the hell is going to happen to me? Am I going completely fucking insane? If I am, then I don't have much sanity left in me. Hell, I don't even know if I have much humanity left in me either. I don't know what to do anymore. I'm so confused. I don't know what Jeff the killer did to me or what happened, but whatever it was, he got it. Because now I'm not the same person I used to be. Make sure you lock your doors and windows. Call the cops and hide. If you're wondering why, it's because the next killer you see outside your window could be me. Time for me to go. I've got to kill the time. By the way, I'm always watching you. I'm so sorry. Truly I am. You have to understand, what I'm doing is right now is because I'm forced for all eternity. I have no choice. Now I'm a proxy, and by the time you hear this, I'll already be gone. But before I leave my humanity behind, I'd like to let you all know I've posted a video of my story recording on the web, so everyone can hear my final words and know that what I'm telling you in this recording is all true. I